that he was the most funniest actor of his time. How many of you can imagine that this person died of depression through suicide? Just because someone is funny, smiling, bubbly and laughing, it does not give you a tag of being happy and not being stung by depression. Fellow Toastmasters, honorable judges and my guest, I'm here in this beautiful evening and I can see smiling faces, but yet the next moment I feel sad. My son is around on the slide, going up and down and swing. He walks up to me and gives me a hug. But the next moment, I'm gloomy again. It's like constantly something is out there that makes sure that my happiness and smile should be wiped off and thrown. It's like I have created a box around me and I would just not let anybody enter. And in this box, I stand here with the heaviness on my chest, on my shoulder, that makes sure that I bend down, hit hard. It's hollow, it's dark, and it's hard to stay here. There is a constant suffocation inside me that makes it difficult to breathe. My husband keeps asking me, is there something you want to share? My parents keep walking up to me every second now. Is there something you want to tell us, Erum? We are here to hear you. But then I stand between them, tall, smiling and saying, I'm okay, there's nothing wrong. What should I tell my husband? That your wife feels that she's mentally ill? What should I tell my parents? That your daughter believes she's an utter failure and no use in the life? What should I tell my son? That your mother has a belief that she's the worst influence on you and there is no way I could be around you. For me, this box is my house. This is where I stay. This is where I live. And the only way I could get out of this box is by approaching death. Yes, and I'm going to take up these pills and end it right now. I have my pills. I feel terribly dizzy and I feel myself lying on the floor. My husband rushes me up to the hospital right now, running around between ward to ward, trying to get doctors to operate me. My parents have reached the hospital and they're running and crying on the floor for me that what has happened. And they're all screaming like babies. Baby. My baby is outside the operation theater and looking at me and saying, Mama, wake up, Mama, please wake up. What have I done? I'm lying there and I can see that what my family is suffering right now is much miserable than what I was living in a box. Why did I make them go through all this? Just then, the doctors are giving a final shot because my heartbeat has drastically dropped. We need to get the shock machine. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Deet, deet. Deet, 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 deet. I get a breath. I get a breath. I get a second chance. What was I about to do? Why did I make that box my house? Why didn't I let anybody come in? Why didn't I open up for help when I could see that this was not normal? I went off to my husband and I told him that I need help. He took me to psychologists and psychiatrists, got me on medication. I went off to my parents and I opened my heart out and stopped being fake in front of them. I spent more genuine time with my son and spent one moment at a time focusing on one happiness, one thing. Fellow Toastmasters, The box that I was hit with hits 300 million people every year. The biggest cause of suicide in the world is through depression. Every 40 seconds, a person dies of suicide. Yet, we are here sitting, judging a book by its cover. By going up and asking for help, I broke up the box. And today, I stand tall here, smiling, here bravely, speaking in front of known and unknown, friends and family, and saying that I am the survivor of a box. Don't judge a book by its cover. Try to look beyond all those smiles and laugh. Try to ask more questions when you see somebody not being real. Have you ever seen yourself in a mirror and felt it was covered with a box? Have you ever looked depth into a loved one's eyes and tried to figure out, is there a box? And if you ever have, let me ask you now, go back, hug them, tell them life is beautiful and it's not going to be same if you are not there. As said by the famous Lebanese writer, Najwa Zaiban, these mountains that you're carrying on your shoulders, you were supposed to climb them. Contest chair.